Directional movement can now be bound to hotkeys, so players can set up their own WASD control scheme. Mobile and gamepad controls also receive a vast number of improvements and customization options, including options for target locking and prioritization, improved auto-targeting, and many others. Additionally, there are graphical improvements like new spell icons for dagger and quarterstaff weapon lines. Finally, of course, a large number of balance adjustments shake up the combat meta and aim to increase viability of lesser used items like the Infernal Staffs and the Bridgewatch Cape, whilst toning down some overused items. The Nightfall patch is on test servers right now, where you can check out all of these changes yourself. We're looking forward to your feedback and hope you join us in the next Dev Talk as we explore the secrets of the mysterious Nightfall Abbey.
What's up, guys? This is Professor Pew Pew coming at you with another off-meta build guide. Now, if you've been watching me on Twitch, you probably already know what this one's about. So this is my Guardian Armor one-hand dagger build. Yeah, that's right, Guardian Armor on one-hand dagger. So the idea of this is, with one-hand dagger, you really don't have a reliable way of killing people through Undead Cape. With other weapons in the dagger tree, like Dagger Pair, Bloodletter, Deathgiver, you have these really hard-hitting one-shotty kind of ease or execute-y kind of ease that can finish people off right when they get to right before they get to the Undead Cape proc. But one-hand daggers, since all your damage is in auto attacks, you can't really kill people through the Undead Cape unless you have a way of removing the Undead Cape stealth. And the most common way to do that is with Helmet of Valor. In my last one-hand dagger build guide, I showed you the Hunter jacket version with the Helmet of Valor. And I've been playing that build with a lot of success. But E and a Mistwalker, I cancel E and I hit Assassin Hood, and then my E comes right back. So when their Mistwalker runs out, my E will be up again. That's the idea behind that one. So yes, when I play this build, I do carry 2 helmets. The Fincal is the one that I use most of the times, and then specifically when I face a Mistwalker jacket, or especially a Mistwalker jacket carving swords. Sorry, Mistwalker jacket carving swords with Fincals, right? That's the super meta build now. So when I face that build, I swap over to the Assassin Hood. So I started playing this build about a week ago, and then this Assassin Hood idea kind of came up later. But I was able to kill a couple of Mistwalker jacket players like this, so I think the idea works. So in A3, this build definitely feels pretty strong. You know, it's definitely a viable build, and then I would say as low as flat 8, it's still playable. Anything lower than that, I personally feel like it just wouldn't be worth it. It's probably better to just run the Hunter jacket version if you're really trying to be cheap. And again, if you haven't seen in my video on the Hunter jacket version, you should go check that out. I'll leave a link in the video description below. If you've never touched the one-hand dagger before, I think that's where you should start, and then maybe come back to this one after you've had some experience on the regular version. I think this build is actually easier to play, but it does require you to have some IP, otherwise it's just hard to kill things when you're in plate armor with a auto attack weapon, right? Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper into matchups. So right now we're fighting against Johel, and when you're fighting against anything that can kite you, you have to think about what skills they can use to guide you, and then you have to basically save your Shadow Edge until they have only one thing left, right? So with Chihao, they have their W, they have their E, they have their boots, and right now he just used all three of them. So now we can go in for free, and there's nothing to stop us, right? If he puts on Hunter Hood, we purge it. If he levitates, we interrupt with Shadow Edge, and there's if he boots late, we purge that, right? So now we can actually stick on them. If it was the other way around, if I was the person engaging in this fight, I 100% lose. Which is why, like, if I see a Chihao while I'm playing this build or any one-hand dagger build, I would just run away. And if I'm running away, like if I'm running away and they get impatient and burn skills into me, that's when I turn around and fight. If you're the person that's losing patience and you decide to burn your mobility skills to chase them, you'll probably die in that matchup every single time. It's basically always easier to win if the other guy has to burn a mobility skill to engage onto you. That Frost was, that's a pretty obvious example, but even here, with the spear was pre-stacking, and then he was probably thinking he can engage on me and then hit deflecting spin to tank my E, right? But if you hold your Shadow Edge to just let them hit you with the pre-stack, and then you start auto-attacking them, they have to deflecting spin, and then while they're spinning, you can interrupt it with a Shadow Edge, and you should be able. To win that trade then, and then you can chase them down afterwards. A lot of times spear players will use their E to knock you up while kiting, like while they're opening distance. So you need to hit Shadow Edge afterwards to chase them, and when you're aiming that Shadow Edge though, just make sure you don't throw it too quick, because I like to do that sometimes. I like to just, as soon as the E, I hit W. But sometimes that backfires because good players always know what you're thinking, right? Like if they open distance with a E, they know that you'll want to close gap afterwards with W, so they'll try to sidestep it, right? So just make sure you don't throw it too quick. And right, sidestep. Plate armor, you usually can to one burst a one-hand curse. They usually run really tanky defensives, like even if they're in cloth, they probably have like Rest Pot or Gig Pot, right? And then Marlock Cape, Hunter Hood. So you're probably not gonna kill them in one burst. And while you're running around for that second rotation, just make sure you save your Shadow Edge to either interrupt their E, like I just did, or to iframe it afterwards. Otherwise, you will lose the fight even if you're out IPing the curse by like 200 or 300 IP. And that is just for the one-hand curse. This one is against a life curse. So as long as you're playing against the one-hand curse, you have to save the E. You have to save the W for their E. But if you're playing against the other versions of curse, you can use your W more liberally, or you can just throw at them for the engage if you need to. Against the other types of curses like Skull, or in this case a life curse, you don't have to save the W for iframe, but it probably still helps if you Q into range first and then press E and start auto attacking. and then use your W to prevent them from kiting you. Because a lot of times you press E, they will start just kiting you with boots. But because you don't have to iframe anything, like you don't have to save the W for that, you can use it just to engage if you need to like keep them in combat or something. And then for your Guardian armor, make sure you check what kind of cape they're running. If they have a undead cape, obviously you need to save the Guardian armor for the stealth. But a lot of the times curse players don't run undead capes. Some of them like to run Guardian cape, especially, well actually just the, not especially but only the one-hand curse players. They like to run Guardian cape for the quick stacks, and sometimes they run Marlock cape for the low HP brawling. So just make sure that if they have a undead cape, you hold it for the stealth, and if they don't, you use your Guardian armor whenever to get damage reduction. And also keep in mind that the Guardian armor does have a little bit of a slow on it, so it kind of helps you counteract the curse passive, which gives them movement, so it makes it harder for them to kite you basically. So the basic idea of playing any kind of one-hand dagger build really is you want to turn on your E and auto attack the other guy. And when you're inspecting their build, if you see anything in there that can prevent you from doing that, then you need to think about what can you use in your kit to overcome what they have. So in this case, we're fighting against something kind of unfamiliar. We're fighting against the Trinity Spear with the Mistwalker Jacket and Finkel. And basically the idea again is to inspect them, look at what skills they have, and think about what they can do to stop your E. And all this guy has is a Mistwalker Jacket, right? Well, he has boots, he can boots and run away, but we have a purge, so boots is no big deal. He has his E, which is a iframe, and that's not gonna stop the entire duration of my E though, so that's not a big deal either. And then in order for him to have kill pressure on me, he needs the cripple to cripple my boots and chase, right? When I actually get the chance to fight him, shout out to him by the way, every time we got third party and ratted, he would just break off the fight and go kill the third party first, which is super cool of him. But later when we actually start fighting, I see like he stays on cripple. That makes sense because the only way he can ever kill me is cripple my boots, right? If he had deflecting spin, that's something else that can stop me. So if he did have deflecting spin, I'll have to think about how I use my shadow edge. But he wants the kill pressure, so he stayed on cripple, right? So I didn't have to worry about that. So again, always inspect them first, look at what kind of defensive they have that can kind of disable your E and just play around it. And if you inspect them and you just see like way too many counters for your E, then you should probably just not take the fight at all. The one-hand dagger is a off-meta weapon. It's an off-meta weapon for a good reason. It has a lot of limitations. Even though on paper it does a lot of damage, it has this mobility, even has sustain, but just the fact that it's a melee weapon that does all of its damage through auto attacks makes it very straightforward and easy to outplay. Pretty much anything in the meta can kill a one-hand dagger if they play it right. And that's why I usually tell people that one-hand daggers just counter bad players. If they make mistakes, you can punish them very hard for it because you do have a ton of damage, you do have a ton of bursts, and you do have a ton of heals, right? So if they rotate their skills wrong even just a little bit, you can turn a situation. pushing around pretty quick with a one hit.
Don't be shy. Come again.